Never folded, never told, never will. Death before the sun.
Be disappointed when little baby don't show up, when Skilla don't show up, when Vizzo don't show up, and all these show up.
Big Meech thought he was making a major power move by locking in with Rick Ross. But now, he's getting a brutal reality check. Loyalty in the industry. A complete illusion. He turned his back on 50 Cent, betting on Ross to hold him down. But the second he stepped out of prison, all he found was betrayal waiting on the other side. At first, Ross was showering Meech with love, promising to put him back in position, talking about real ones sticking together.
Sit back against the wall and just slide down. You already know, car show going down June 7th. Get online right now, get your tickets right now. But for the hustlers, I want y'all to understand you gotta stop making business personal.
But the moment things didn't go as planned, Ross wiped his hands clean, cut ties like Meech was nothing, and guess what? He went running right back to his so-called enemy, 50 Cent. Now, Meech is standing in the cold, realizing the game ain't what it used to be. The codes? Shattered. The alliances? Fake. The man he thought was in his corner flipped on him like it was nothing.
Never folded, never told, never will. Death before the sun.
But why did Ross switch sides so fast? And was this all part of a bigger chess move by 50 Cent? Oh, it gets deeper than you think. This ain't just a case of backstabbing. This is strategic, and somebody's playing puppet master behind the scenes. Meech is learning the hard way that in this world, what goes around really does come back around. And when it does, it ain't always pretty. Meech spent years locked up, counting down the days until his big comeback. He thought he was about to reclaim his throne. But instead, he's stranded with nobody in his corner. The man he turned his back on, 50 Cent, is sitting on top, eating off the BMF brand like a king. Meanwhile, the one he ran to, Rick Ross? He's acting like he never even knew Meech existed. But here's where it gets real messy. Rick Ross wasn't just some industry friend, he played Meech like a fiddle, whispering in his ear, pushing him to cut ties with 50, making it seem like he had a better plan for him. But in reality, Ross might have just handed 50 the biggest win ever. Because let's be real, if Meech was so quick to turn his back on 50 after everything 50 did to keep the BMF name alive with that hit TV show, then maybe Meech was never as solid as people thought. Maybe he exposed himself. And now, the streets are talking. Word is, Meech is scrambling, searching for someone to blame after his legacy concert flopped, after nobody came rushing in to save him from this downfall.
We're 2 days away from the big Meech concert. Get your tickets right now. Make sure everybody flying to the city for this. It's gonna be huge.
And guess who he's pointing the finger at? The same man who hyped him up and left him stranded, Rick Ross.
I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film.
Because if you really look at the situation, Meech was nothing but a pawn in Ross's little power game. Ross didn't want to help Meech. He wanted to play him. The real goal? Humiliate 50 Cent and steal the entire BMF legacy for himself. And now, with Meech left out in the cold, Ross is nowhere to be found. Cold game. The moment things got messy, Ross vanished. Gone like he was never part of the plan. He left Meech hanging. No lifeline, no backup, just cold betrayal. And now, Meech is out here trying to play the victim, acting like he got done dirty. But let's be real. He played himself. And if there's one thing the streets never forgive, it's a man who flips sides the second someone flashes a little cash. That's a bad look. But how deep does this backstab really go? And the real question is 50 Cent sitting back watching this whole mess with a smirk, knowing he just dodged a snake without even lifting a finger? Because trust and believe, the streets are talking in the whisper, and the whispers are getting loud.
Be disappointed when little baby don't show up, when Skilla don't show up, when Vizzo don't show up, and all these show up.
Some folks are even saying 50 might have pulled a few strings to shut down Big Meech's Welcome Back concert before it even had a chance to pop off. But let's be honest, why would 50 even need to get his hands dirty when Meech was already doing a perfect job of self-destruction? The snitching rumors had been floating around for years. The concert wasn't giving legendary comeback. It was giving desperation. And if there's one thing 50 knows how to do better than anyone, it's sitting back and letting his enemies dig their own graves. No effort needed. Just 2 hours before showtime, the Amerit Bank Arena pulled the plug out of nowhere. No buildup, no warning, just a cold, blunt statement. Due to unforeseen circumstances, tonight's show has been canceled. Refunds will be made at point of purchase.
Before this giant welcome home concert
I told you it was
was
gonna get
canceled.
What'd I tell you?
The bill was
What did
insane.
I say?
The list of artists on it was...
That's it. No explanation, no second chances, just straight up embarrassment for Meech. And guess who was sitting back, watching it all fall apart, like he had already seen the ending to this movie? 50 Cent. Before the concert was even announced, 50 was out here telling anybody who would listen, this show will never happen. And now that the whole thing crashed and burned right on cue, he's doing what he does best. Being the pettiest villain in the game. He wasted no time rubbing salt in the wound, posting that canceled flyer like it was a platinum plaque. And the caption? Slick as ever. He hit him with the line that might as well have come with a cigar and a gold chain. I had nothing to do with this. Yeah, right. Please stop calling my phone. I sincerely hope you have a nice day today. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm stronger than you think I am. Sounds heartfelt, right? Like 50 Cent was sending love and light? Yeah, right. If you believe that, he's got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Because one thing about 50, he never outright denies anything. He just makes sure everybody knows he's always 2 steps ahead. And then just to twist the knife a little deeper, he hopped back on Instagram playing the fake apology game. If you bought an outfit and was ready to turn up, I apologize for whoever's responsible. Let's get to that. Come on now, that is pure villain mode. The man is out here giving damage control with a smirk, knowing exactly what he did. But the real dagger? The final nail in the coffin? That came when a fan straight up accused him of shutting the whole event down. 50 didn't dodge, he didn't backtrack, he doubled down. He reposted the comment and hit him with another slick one. I apologize for your trip to Miami, but been playing with me, so, let's build when y'all get back to the city. At this point, 50 ain't even playing the same game as everybody else. While folks are still trying to figure out how to roll the dice, he's 10 moves ahead, playing chess. And Meech? He's out here scrambling, looking for anybody to blame. But the truth? He did this to himself. Rick Ross set him up, 50 washed his hands, and now Meech is standing alone. No legacy concert, no allies, and nobody left to clean up the mess. At the end of the day, Big Meech is standing with nothing in his hands. Yeah, he's out of prison, but what does he really have left? Nothing. No more support, no more loyalty, and definitely no backing for his family. And just when you think it couldn't get worse, the main breadwinner, Lil Meech, just lost his job. Lil Meech tried to play the loyalty card with 50 Cent, hoping it would keep the concert alive. But guess what? That move flopped. And now the fallout is real because season 4 of BMF has officially been canceled. And it's crystal clear why. 50 Cent just threw gasoline on the fire by exposing Lil Meech's private text messages for the world to see. And let's just say, those texts, they said a lot more than Lil Meech probably intended. In the messages, Lil Meech is practically begging for 50's approval, claiming he'd give him the shirt off his back. But here's where it gets wild. While he's saying all that, he's also defending his father's ties to Rick Ross. But the biggest bombshell? Lil Meech flat out admitted that Rick Ross was the one covering Big Meech's bills until the next season of BMF was supposed to start. And then came the shade. Lil Meech hit 50 with, "They just told me you unfollowed me on Instagram, and now you managing Skillababy with Rocket when I brought him around you first when you didn't have a clue who he was." This ain't just drama. This is full-blown industry warfare. 50's got the upper hand, Meech is scrambling, and Ross, well, he might have played his cards a little too well. Now you mad at me? When I would take the shirt off my back for you? I can't believe this, man! You act like I'm your enemy when all I ever showed you was love and loyalty. I go through my own problems, but I never switched up on you. Ross. But yeah, he gave my pops some bread so he could pay his bills until our next season starts. Star. That's the message that got everybody talking. Big Meech didn't just align himself with 50 Cent's biggest rival, he's now financially dependent on Rick Ross. And if you think Ross ain't using that to his advantage, Think again. Behind the scenes, he's pulling strings, keeping Meech close while driving an even bigger wedge between him and 50. And it's not just 50 watching this play out. The game had to chime in, and he did not hold back. He called out Lil Meech for not riding harder for his father, saying he should have stood 10 toes behind the BMF legacy, no matter what. Just seen a text from Lil Meech to 50 that got me dying. Hey, Lil Meech, you were supposed to be like, F you, this is BMF, and I'm standing with my pops. Now, me and Fifth got our own issues, but that's on pause while I post this. Then 50 came through with the knockout punch, clowning Lil Meech with, "What's your little ass gonna do?" The game saw that and nearly spit his water out. Then he hit Meech with some real talk. What happened to Gangsta Man?
Can't believe a stand-up dude doing his time would suddenly say, "I don't want to be here no more. I'm gonna become a rat."
Big Meech, you can't let 50 get at you like that. At this point, 50 ain't even throwing punches. He's just watching as his enemy destroys himself. What started as snitching rumors has turned into something way bigger. Big Meech ain't looking like the boss he once was. He's looking like a pawn in his own legacy. And right now, Rick Ross is the one pulling the strings while 50 Cent just sits back, watching the whole thing fall apart. Like, the BMF legacy is falling apart, and 50 Cent? He's just sitting back, letting the whole thing crash and burn. No interference necessary. Everybody saw this downfall coming a mile away. Except for the Meeches. Lil Meech, the one person who was supposed to carry on the BMF name, has officially turned against the very man who built his career, gave him a platform, and held him down while his father was locked up. Instead of standing firm and protecting the brand, he's now stuck in the middle of a war he could have easily avoided. And 50? He's not holding back at all. He's going straight for Big Meech's parenting, calling him out for the way he handled Lil Meech's future. And if that wasn't enough, a resurfaced social media post just made things even messier. Old footage popped back up of Lil Meech with Rick Ross's daughter, Toei Roberts, a situation that goes way back. And you already know 50 wasted zero time throwing in his 2 cents. He openly questioned why Rick Ross, who is suddenly so invested in Big Meech now, never once stepped up to help Lil Meech when it actually mattered. 50 laid it all out, exposing the fact that Ross and everybody surrounding Big Meech did absolutely nothing for Lil Meech's future. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was the one who put his money where his mouth was. He's the one who paid for Lil Meech to go to acting school. He's the one who gave him the role of a lifetime in the BMF series. And now, Lil Meech is standing on shaky ground, caught between loyalty and bad decisions, while 50 sits back watching the dominoes fall exactly how he said they would. 50 Cent didn't hold back. He went straight for Meech's priorities. Instead of making sure his own son was set up for success, Meech came home playing the role, acting like some kind of black Pablo Escobar, and in the process, he ruined everything for Lil Meech. This ain't just a rap feud anymore, this is a full-blown betrayal. Big Meech once had 50 solidly in his corner, but the second he made that one bad choice, he pushed himself into complete isolation. And now, there's no coming back from this. But here's the thing, 50 Cent never forgets. Never. And he's making it very clear that Meech's mistakes will not be overlooked. But the real kicker? This beef with Ross just adds another level of chaos to the situation. Their bad blood goes way back to 2008. Diss tracks, legal battles, real tension. And let's not forget that infamous lawsuit that cost 50 a cool $7 million. Ross thought he won that round, but history has proven one thing. 50 never lets anything slide. And now, Gene Deal is stepping in, adding even more heat to the fire. This ain't just personal drama, this is business. Because word on the street, this might be the final season of BMF. The same show that's tied to 50's $150 million deal with Starz. Now, this ain't just a battle of egos anymore. This is real money, real power, and real repercussions. If this deal collapses, things could take a whole new turn. For most people, walking away from a deal worth millions would be a huge loss. But 50 Cent? He plays the long game. If he built it once, he'll build it again. Because one thing about Fifth, once you cross him, there's no coming back. And this is where things start looking real shady. Because let's be honest, 50 didn't just pull those snitching allegations out of thin air. The whispers about Big Meech cutting a deal with the feds, they've been floating around for years. Long before 50 exposed him, the streets were already questioning if Meech had flipped. And at the center of it all, Tammy Cowens. She wasn't just some random woman in Meech's circle. She was someone he considered a close friend. But here's the twist. Tammy was also a federal informant. Allegedly, she was the one who helped Meech negotiate the deal that got years shaved off his sentence. But let's not kid ourselves. Meech wasn't walking out of prison early without giving the feds something major in return. And that something might have been his own longtime friend and business partner, Dion Cuffy Gatling. Cuffy and Meech go way back. They had been running business together for years, long before Meech got locked up. But when Cuffy's family found out the truth, that Meech might have been the one to set him up. They were blindsided. According to Cuffy's daughter, Tamara Gatling, the betrayal hit their family out of nowhere. And now, with all this coming to light, the question ain't just about loyalty anymore. It's about who's really been playing who in this game. The pieces of the puzzle didn't come together until it was too late. The moment the confidential informants were identified in the case, one name kept popping up in the paperwork: Big Meech. And just when you thought it couldn't get any messier, it does. See, Meech wasn't just caught up in the drama, he was orchestrating it. To keep things looking legit, Meech himself connected Cuffy with Tammy Cowens. And let's be clear, Tammy wasn't just some business associate. She was his power of attorney. The woman who literally owned the rights to his entire life story at the time. Cuffy, trusting his longtime friend, thought he was stepping into an opportunity that would put him in position. But instead, he ended up behind bars. Then, as the discovery documents started rolling in, the truth became crystal clear. CS1, the confidential informant who helped take Cuffy down, that was Tammy Cowens. But here's the part nobody can ignore. Tammy didn't move without Meech's blessing. So when the Gatling family pressed Meech for answers, thinking this had to be some big misunderstanding, how did Meech respond? He brushed them off like it was nothing. But the deeper they dug, the uglier it got. Tammy may have been the one wearing the wire, but nobody believes she was operating behind Meech's back. Not a chance. And in the end, Cuffy took the fall, while Meech walked free. So all that talk about brotherhood, about being solid, that didn't mean a damn thing when the feds came knocking. And yet, despite all the evidence, there are still people out here bending over backwards to defend Big Meech. Right on cue, Young Buck jumped into the conversation, caping for Meech like this was his last shot at staying relevant. One thing about 50 Cent, he does not do second chances. Once you cross him, it's over. And his response? Straight up ruthless. The moment Young Buck tried to cape for Big Meech, 50 went straight for his neck. Wasting no time, he dragged Buck for all his past controversies, making sure the internet had something to talk about. And just like that, the haters came flooding in. People started accusing 50 of being a culture vulture, claiming he was just stirring up drama to sabotage promotions. But let's be real, if you actually break it down, who's really benefiting from all this mess? Because if we're talking money, both sides have cashed in on the BMF name. Big Meech's entire life story got turned into a hit TV series, cementing his legacy for a whole new generation. And Lil Meech, his entire career wouldn't even exist without 50 Cent backing him. Yet somehow, 50 is the one catching heat for telling the truth. Make it make sense! At the core of this entire situation, it's not about clout, it's not about promotions, it's about one thing: loyalty. And if there's anyone in this game who doesn't tolerate betrayal, it's 50 Cent. He stood by the BMF family. He gave Lil Meech a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. He helped him become something more than just Big Meech's son. And what did Meech Jr. do the second it was convenient? He switched up. Now 50's making it crystal clear there's no coming back from that. And guess what? Lil Meech is already feeling it. Badly. After everything 50 did, putting him on, paying for his acting school, giving him a career while his father was locked up, Meech Jr. still flipped sides. And now, he's paying the price. How bad is it? The same Lil Meech, who was out here living the high life on the BMF set, is now out here begging for paid promotions for $500. That's not even rent money. That's pocket change compared to the fat checks 50 was cutting him. 1 minute, he's Hollywood royalty. The next, he's scrambling for side hustles just trying to keep up. And all because he fumbled the biggest bag of his life. And you already know, 50 Cent ain't letting this slide. If there's one thing about 50, it's that he's always gonna get the last laugh. This ain't just a simple rap feud. This is turning into one of the messiest betrayals in hip-hop history. Big Meech built his entire legacy on loyalty. He thought that's what mattered most. But now, the same people he trusted have been playing both sides all along, and just look at how things are falling apart. Rick Ross? First, he was Meech's guy. Now he's getting cozy with 50 Cent like nothing ever happened. Lil Meech went from being the face of BMF to hustling for pennies, trying to book paid promos for $500 just to keep his pockets full. And BMF, the empire Meech built, it's crumbling right before our eyes. So now the real question is, did Big Meech do this to himself by flipping on his own people? Or is 50 Cent just exposing the truth that everybody else was too scared to say out loud? Let's hear what y'all think. Drop your thoughts in the comments because this conversation ain't over yet. And before you go, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for all the latest tea, and share this with your people so they don't miss out on the drama. Because trust me, this story is far from over. Stay locked in, and I'll see y'all in the next video.